the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. As thankfully, I was able to have a Thursday off, the kind of an optional type of a meeting type of day. So nice to be able to enjoy the nice weather this time of year, as obviously it's warmer than normal, but it's a comfortable warm. It's not a humid warm, but obviously things heating up politically, Washington, D.C., debates, this and that, of course, and the BS being slung everywhere by the media, as it's never going to stop. It is absolutely never going to stop. Well, how about this for a title of an episode, if I can find it? No, I'm just kidding. Well, the fact is that the media at this stage has, well, they have complete disregard for our intelligence, and that's kind of how I see things regarding the debate that took place on September 10th, 2024 or 2024. Did Trump dominate Kamala Harris? No. Did Kamala Harris dominate Trump? No, of course not. She absolutely did not, because, well, any legitimate question that was thrown her way, like the question of questions, when you are the vice president of the United States, or the incumbent president, but in her case, the vice president of the United States, and, well, kind of like the heir apparent for the ultra-left, if, obviously it's, at the moment with Joe Biden not running again, thanks to them forcing him out. We'll continue on that possibly in this episode, something interesting going on there. Are we better off than 4 years ago? And that question, she did not answer the question, and the question was not rehashed. Anything they asked Trump, if he didn't answer it exactly to their liking, like say, the January 6th this, or the election, did they cheat, not or not that, they'd always have some smart aleck response, for lack of a better word, to Trump in that case. President Trump, as we like to call him, and Vice President Harris. Yikes. Horrifying. Hopefully we'll just keep it at vice and move on from there. A 4-year vice president that, can move on because she's a disgrace. There, I said it. She's a disgrace to and she is, to that title. There's no doubt about it. It just feels like the media has no regard for our intelligence. They really, truly don't. Basically saying that Kamala Harris rope-a-doped Trump into the whole thing. like rope-a-dope Trump into being an angry man, this and that. When she brought up, she started showing off about the rally situation, like how Trump had nobody at his rallies and they were basically falling asleep because they were bored to death, and that she had so many people at the rallies, when it's like, obviously that's not true. Unfortunately, Trump got angry and kind of sort of took the bait, and then things kind of snowballed into him talking about pets being eaten by illegal Haitian immigrants, by the way, in Ohio, which actually is true. Multiple sources out there, multiple people, like human beings in the neighborhoods and such in the area, were saying this is not fake news. This is real. And these could be people of all demographics saying that this kind of stuff is happening. So it's not been good. Obviously, gangs holding up apartments and such, like dominating apartments, taking over apartments. It's unbelievable. These are Latinos, of course, doing that. Absolutely crazy. Illegal immigrants in that case. It's an insane mess. But no, back to the rallies and such. I would have, if it was me, instead of getting angry, it's like you'd come back with just, really, Kamala, you're going to come at me with that? Like, that's just like stupid lawyer talk. You know, you're just trying to get smart with me. You think I'm going to fall for that? Do you think the American people are going to fall for that, Kamala? Come on, you can do better than that. That would kind of be my response if I had a chance. Really, Kamala, are you serious with us right now? That you're going to bring that up, which is completely not true. Both of us know that's not true, Kamala. That would have been my response. Like, I would have put her in her place pretty quickly. And she can make that stupid, arrogant, bleep face all she wants the entire night. Go ahead and keep doing it. Because you know what that is? That's just the smart, aleck, liberal lawyers that have to have that same look on their face every time somebody goes against them. Like, oh, really? Oh, really? Where they will literally lie with confidence. They'll lie with confidence on a regular basis. They'll lie that their client, quote unquote, is, innocent of something they absolutely did, that type of thing. And, you're going to accuse him of that? Well. They got to make these arrogant faces, this and that. Really, that's all it is. It's Kamala being a lawyer. That's what it is. Just a liberal, radical liberal lawyer that she is, and she always has been. And unfortunately, that's where we're pretty much headed towards with Washington for many, many years now. One lawyer after another becoming a presidential candidate for many, many years, or senators and such, and governors of states, gubernatorial candidates, governors, and all of that cute stuff. Looking forward to the vice presidential debate. There's no doubt about that. And of course, this is a mobile episode. If you didn't notice, you could probably hear the background again. Why be indoors when this is the kind of weather I'd rather be outside? I would rather be outside, or in a pavilion type of situation, you could say. But open windows, whatever the heck you want to call it. But just the whole thing, it's a complete disregard for our intelligence. Dan Barrero basically said again that Kamala Harris just basically owned Trump. That's Dan Barrero, locally sports talk, of course. Mostly sports, but yes, he gets into other news and topics and such, and he has voted left on every single election going back to at least Walter Mondale. So it's like, why act like you're some kind of objective person who tries to, be kind of down the middle and all of that, when it's plain as day which way you lean. And you lean it stronger and stronger each election, it seems like, Mr. Dan Barrero, locally. The only reason I listen, I like his sports takes, I guess, but I don't know. One of these days I'm going to finally unsubscribe. But of course, again, he does give material when you have people like Pat Kessler on, who surprisingly was not as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting one smart-ass thing after another, pardon my French, which Pat Kessler has been pretty much ever since he semi-retired from Channel 4, basically, as a political correspondent, which has been forever, political reporter for WCCO TV Channel 4, locally here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So I was actually surprised how actually he was semi-objective. And I appreciate that. I actually had a Pat Kessler. It's like a miracle. Heck, I had an episode called Pat Kessler is a Jackass a few years ago. Pardon me, having a little Americano here. Cold Americano. because it's been warm. But yeah, he was better than I expected. So good for him at the end of the day. Go Pat Kessler, I guess. It's progress, right? Progress in the right direction. You got to have progress somewhere. As for progress, generally speaking, again, it's just sad. Like, because it's everywhere. Everywhere, be it ABC, be it CNBC, be it CNN. This publication, that publication, it doesn't matter. Kamala Harris wiped the floor with Donald Trump in the debate, according to every single one of them, because they have no disregard for our intelligence. They have a complete disregard for our intelligence, if that's the better way to put it. They have no regard for our intelligence whatsoever to the media. No matter what the situation is, they're going to say she won. It's so stupid. Interesting. I'm getting a response from my nephews, or at least one of them. And it's like a dual text where it goes to both of them and me. We all cut grass kind of semi together. You could say I'm the first shift for the grass, and then go to my regular job, second shift, and they do first shift for the grass. Second shift for the grass, and just kind of do other things in the morning, I guess. Not lawns or anything. Interesting. What is that? Okay, that's something else. Weird. Something else, not related to the show. Another interesting thing. Oh, yes, Donald Trump, during the course of the debate, which there was no denial whatsoever, just the usual arrogant face with a little chuckle, because I think this has been out there for a while, that, and Trump has been saying it for a while too, which is really fascinating, how basically there was a coup. Like, Joe Biden was literally forced out by, the powers that be with the Democrat Party, and Kamala Harris, it was definitely an opportunist in the situation, which is pretty much what Kamala Harris has been her entire life. Her entire life. She moved up because of opportunist. She's an opportunist. She would come into opportunities by doing this or opportunities by doing that. It is not because she is a good leader whatsoever. Any type of, again, we'll say 1,000 times, how are we better off than we were 4 years ago? Of course not. And then she said how she inherited a terrible economy, and the pandemic, basically Trump dumped it on her. So the pandemic was dumped on you. No, it was dumped on by, well, dare we say, gain of function research and such by your favorite doctor, Dr. Fauci, and others that may have helped create this virus and release it on this planet. Creepy stuff, rather than some kind of bat in like some wet market or something weird like that. It's just weird. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, a bat in a wet market somehow is going to pass on, I don't know, viruses. I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully this doesn't get banned on YouTube, because this goes to YouTube automatically, but I guess anything is possible. Boy, where do we go from here? No, the pandemic was not dumped on by Donald Trump. It was not dumped on them by Donald Trump, and the economy was damaged because of the way all of you out there on the left shut everything down, overreacted to this virus because you wanted control. You wanted more control, and you wanted to see just how far you could go to gain control, because maybe to test for something more severe in the future, so you could ultimately get full control, be a New World Order, this and that, in the not too distant future. If this is only a test, well, it was a test of some sorts. You're still seeing people walking around with masks on outside and, at work, with not taking it off for a second other than to eat. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous what we're seeing. But again, all the shutdowns and restrictions that were put all over the country are what damaged the economy, and all the handouts, paying people to not come into work and charging this to taxpayers. That creates inflation, ladies and gentlemen. This was all of the left wings, the Democrats, generally speaking, policies. This was not Donald Trump screwing up the economy. The economy under Donald Trump, before all this nonsense started, was booming. It was booming in every way you could imagine. The stock market was better than it had ever been. The jobs were everywhere. Heck, you were even seeing Merry Christmas at Target, places like that. Especially early on in Trump's administration, you saw a lot of that. It was more and more common to see Merry Christmas rather than just Happy Holidays everywhere. It was just interesting. It was like an effect, kind of like a trickle-down positive effect going on everywhere. Again, are we better off than we were 4 years ago? Let's see. Gas prices, especially when Biden shut down that pipeline. Thank you very much, Joe Biden. We really appreciate that. Not only did that kill jobs, and I mean really kill jobs, but that people were back to work again after the nonsense shutdowns everywhere. Not only did that kill jobs, but down went oil production. Oil that is a renewable resource. It actually comes back underneath the earth. It actually does come back in those in the oil wells. It comes back. It is naturally created by all the activities going on underneath the surface. That's what's happening. Oil is a natural resource. It is not a fossil fuel. It is not made by decaying dinosaurs and plants and such. There might be some of that, but generally speaking, it is a natural resource made underneath the earth that just, it returns possibly by a lot of the friction going on underneath there with the earth's core and such, and then it kind of comes up. It's interesting. It's fascinating. It's science. It's a renewable resource. It's there. At very least, this has been talked about for a while. Heck, even in like parts of the United States, we have hundreds of years worth of oil that would be hundreds of years worth of gas that could fuel the world right here on our soil, much less in other parts of the world. Think about that, like fracking and such, where, of course, Kamala Harris has gone back and forth with that one. But we all know where she really stands with a lot of this. They've always been against all of it because they want that electricity. They want the electric cars, which is, again, another way to control the public. You shut off, you have more ability to shut people off then because they're not abiding by your rules and your control. Oh, yeah. That's part of the plan, folks. Oh, yeah. Just like a cell phone. They want a car to basically be a cell phone in a lot of ways, a smart car. A lot of that already does exist, but I mean, it'd be even more so without fuel. Oh, shoot, it can't run anymore. Boom, off and such. So obviously, again, electricity is a huge thing, but the further and further we're going into smart this, smart that, and automatic intelligence, which is going to be another episode coming up, AI. That is going to be an episode, folks. Yeah, I mean, there is some fascinating stuff out there that, and I have a theory on something as well. That is just, it just blew my mind. It was like God speaking to me. I just, wow, could it be? It's absolutely fascinating. So we'll do an episode on that coming up soon. But I don't know. It's just endless manipulation by the media. It pretty much has been for many years, but it seems to get worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, here in Golden Valley, Minnesota, you see nothing but Harris-sides. Like, oh my God, I think I've seen 2 Trump fan signs. Not because there's only 2 conservatives in the whole city, or that are at least known, other than myself and my parents and such, but because, again, everything is so twisted and so biased towards a certain direction in this whole entire bleeping country when it comes to politics. You don't think there's a fascism, you don't think there's a fascist side to the Democrat Party and to the American left, and really the left across the planet, not just in America, but to the general left across the planet, that pretty much all of us are scared to even put signs up, because surely there's some conservatives in this very neighborhood that I'm sitting in right now. Surely 1 or 2 of these houses that I'm looking at down the block might be voting for Donald Trump, but none of them will put a sign up. Why? Because it'll get taken away, or God knows what else might happen. People might throw rocks at their windows. Oh, but that's crazy. Oh boy. I'm nuts now for saying that. People throw rocks at Trump supporters' windows. Believe me, it's happened. Oh God, yes. Or the sign just disappears magically because somebody came and took it. Because how dare you? How dare you have a dissenting opinion? This is the Kamala Harris cult. The Joe Biden cult. The Barack Obama cult. The God knows who else afterward. Gavin Newsom cult. It could go on all day. It could go on all day. The Michelle, well, she'll never get into politics again. She doesn't want to. Michelle Obama. You get the idea. But people like that. The real guy who's running the show is pretty much most likely Obama, other than, of course, the George Soroses, who have the real money. Like, he who hath the gold makes the rules. Yeah, that sounds like George Soros. He's one of the big ones. Other fascinating thoughts are there's a lot of celebrities turning towards Trump very quickly. Of course, huge surprise that Taylor Swift made her decision. Oh, after the debate. Oh, I'm sure she made her decision after the debate. No, that was all planned. That was all planned. Yes, she supports Kamala Harris. What an absolute shocker, with her endless Biden fingernails and such during the last election. Oh, what a shocker. She's going to support Kamala Harris. She made her decision tonight. Oh, yes. Absolute turning point of the whole world was that debate on September 10th. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Taylor, I'm coming with you, Taylor. I'm going to follow you because I'm a Swiftie. Oh, please, please. Oh, any conservative Swifties out there, if you follow her, holy cow, are you a tool? You're a tool if you follow Taylor Swift with anything. I don't even understand how any conservatives can even stand her at this point. How can you? Or like an Eminem. I can't believe I've met young conservatives that like Eminem. What's wrong with you? Is there, like, what good does his music, if you can call it that, give you? Does it give you anything? Or does it just pretty much make you into a jackass? Whereas Taylor Swift, it's kind of like the same thing. It's what's so good about it. Number one thing, too, with Kamala Harris that obviously a lot of people were wishing Trump could have said more. You could have focused more on. What exactly have you done in the last 4 years? Tell us something good that you've done. Like, honest to God, oh, you created jobs. Yeah, sure, out of thin air with some stupid projects that taxpayers pay for that don't really benefit anybody. Oh, you created jobs. Yeah, sure. Temporary jobs. Temporary jobs with again, bureaucracies that are completely unnecessary. That's about as far as you could go with Kamala Harris and jobs she's created. Anything else, I don't know. They destroyed several other jobs to even get to the point of having to create jobs to stimulate the economy. Pardon me. So, oh boy, yep, it's a sad state of affairs. So another thing that's been, well, there's a couple other things. Let's go to the Facebook page here, facebook.com/freedom of thought. 1776 rolls right off your tongue. Well, yeah, I posted something fascinating. This could be an episode in the future. I'll just bring it up here. And this is going to be an episode of some sort in the future. I got to think. There is a theory that does add up to a scientific phenomenon that happens in the skies. Sometimes, there's signs in the skies, like in the Bible, right? In Revelation, but also possibly with the birth of Christ. On September 11th, it says BCE. For some reason I thought it was AD, but 3 BC. 3 BC. September 11th. What do you think of that? September 11th, of all days, September 11th. Not just because of the terror attacks that occurred very recently, so that's another connection to this episode, as the 23rd anniversary was just yesterday. I did want to do a 9/11 episode, so I guess we're just going to put it right here anyway. But how fascinating is that? Not just because of the terror attacks, but how about 10 years earlier, when George H.W. Bush had his New World Order speech, where he continued to talk about, he professed the New World Order and New World Order, New World Order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to achieve the promise and vision of the UN's founders, a New World Order. Yep, not the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, all of that. But he also made the comment, the illumination of 1,000 points of light, which is very Masonic, very Masonic. I don't think there's anything good about Masons either, honestly. Secret societies, secret oaths, and secret proceedings. It's creepy, man. It's really creepy. But think about it. What better way for the devil to cover up and deceive people? And like pagans and all that such. To have like a New World Order day, September 11th. To take that, to turn possibly Jesus' real birthday into that, the New World Order, the day of the New World Order and such, and Patriot Act and all of that, which is kind of a New World Order thing. Yes, the Patriot Act, where they listen into your phone calls and such. Supposedly that program already existed during the 1990s during the Bill Clinton administration, but it was not made public until after September 11th. We can go on all day as to what took place on that day, especially Building 7, the building that was not hit by airplanes. Yes, airplanes hit the Twin Towers. But the result of the result of what took place, or what took place after those planes hit, doesn't add up scientifically. It just doesn't, And Trump was even saying that way back then. The more Democrat Trump of 9/11/2001 was talking about it back then. Like, it's crazy to think that could happen. Like these steel buildings. But again, could it be the birth of Christ? And then, of all things, Nimrod, basically in a lot of ways the first Antichrist, who wanted his New World Order on the Tower of Babel, was born on December 25th. Whoo-wee! Think about those two things. Think about those two things and how, Christmas Day was put on that. So it's just the darndest thing. With the Catholics, the Vatican, which is like the same area where the Illuminati is from. The same country, obviously the same area. There's parts of the Vatican that are involved with the Illuminati. Isn't that creepy, man? Isn't that just creepy? It's like I like to celebrate Christmas on December the 25th, but it's like at the same time, it's like, wow, that's weird, isn't it? Isn't that the darndest thing? Nimrod's birthday, of all people. And a lot of people also now believe that the G, I could be wrong, but maybe this is all a cover-up now when people tell you what the G is and such. But what the real reason for the G in the Mason logo, insignia, could be Gilgamesh, who is also Nimrod. That's another potential episode coming up. Spoiler alert. Gilgamesh. Well, what did Nimrod do? You could say he was like the first Mason in a lot of ways, building the Tower of Babel. Something so large that it could reach above the clouds. And then ultimately, its purpose was to, be a meeting place for possibly angels to get, fallen angels to get with women again and create more giants. Creepy. And obviously at least add more technology and all that. Pass on more information technology and such. That, believe it or not, did exist all those years ago. Because there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. So that was a different rabbit hole that some of you may not have been expecting. And that's going to be a major episode in the future. At least I would hope so. Hope I didn't already spoil it too much. Another arrogance, like outright arrogance of the left, like signs you're seeing in people's yards. The other guys are weird, or Harris 2024, weird, with the line, the circle, the red circle and line through it. Now, again, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Weird, huh? We're weird. Let's see. How about your famous admiral? Is he? Excuse me. Are they weird? Excuse me. They. Okay, they. Are they weird? I think they're weird a little bit. How about pink hair? How about what am I seeing? That was weird. That was weird. Sorry. I don't know if it was a bunch of birds. It looked ghostly for a second there. Wow, that was weird. How about the pink hair people, where their body's basically a tattoo and they have 50,000 piercings all over the place? Is that weird? That's the left 99% of the time. Not everybody on the left, but those people are on the left. The people that not everyone on the left, but people like that usually are on the left. In fact, I'd say all of them. Killing babies after birth, and that was actually a fact that was brought up by Trump, and of course the ABC people dismissed it when it's like actually it's factual proof. In Pennsylvania, it's been going on. Minnesota, Tim Walz, Tampon Tim. I mean, it's all real, man. It's all real. It's all legitimate, whether we like it or not. So, I don't know. It is a sad, sad truth, no doubt about it. But it truly is ironic that arguably the weirdest people ever are calling people that aren't like that weird. They're just it's just an arrogance. And obviously the whole Kamala Harris, obviously, on their signs, obviously Kamala Harris. Obviously, huh? The person who couldn't get a percentage during the primaries. I mean, I know you think we've heard that a million times. Yeah, but it needs to be said because it seems like people aren't getting it. How is it obviously Kamala Harris when she couldn't get a percent pretty much, or was it 2%, whatever, who cares how small the number is, from her own party in the primaries? So how is it obviously Kamala Harris? It makes no sense. So that's basically like an F- idiot thing for that. So now we're going to wrap things up here. 9/11, 2024, President, whether we like to call him the president or not, Joe Biden, visited some firemen, a fire station and such, kind of like thanking them for their service and this and that on the day of 9/11, of course. And people were kind of teasing him and all that. There was a Trump hat there, very fancy looking Trump hat, Trump 24 hat. People were teasing him to put it on. And then he put it on. A Trump 24 hat on Joe Biden, of all people. And he had a pretty big smile in the room, a pretty big smile on his face in the room, erupted in applause. And they said, we're finally proud of you, or something like that. There was like somebody said that. He took it off after about, less than a minute. So it wasn't for very long. But interesting. And again, during the debate, if I didn't mention this already, and you've probably already heard it, but I got to mention it anyway, that I'll let you in on a little secret, he basically said. He hates her, Joe Biden. That Joe Biden hates her because they basically pushed him out of office. And that she was the beneficiary. That was something I was leading towards a while back, and I didn't get to it, but that's because it's like, let's get to this first. The hat thing. So the fact that hat deal happened the next day has to mean something, right? I posted a video from Dark Waters, a really cool black conservative who's also into a lot of that giant stuff that I like to talk about. A black conservative from the Deep South, I believe Louisiana, down in the Deep South. Really cool guy. And you can watch the video. And he's thinking, could this be something? Like, could there be something to this? Like, why would he do that? Why would Joe Biden, of all people, put a Trump hat on, even if it was less than a minute? He had a pretty big smile on his face. And I know the talk was that, he's just trying to show unity and this and that because it's 9/11 and we were all united back in that day. Yes, we were. It was a very euphoric vibe. We were very united for a day or two, and then the Hillary Clintons and all them others started the crap. But in hindsight, George W. Bush is garbage anyway. Oh, they were united all right in the deep state. They were. Whereas the American public's division really started to take off again, as we were pretty divided during the whole Bush versus Gore election. That was insanely close. Supposedly Gore actually did win. The Florida thing was weird, how it was called very early. So I'm not sure what to make of that. And yes, it's 24 years ago now. I'm not sure what to make of it, but I do remember how strange it was. Like, why is Florida being called so quickly for Gore? And then all of a sudden there was recounts and this and that, and then Bush ended up winning. So I don't know. Regardless, either way, you were getting a New World Order president, no matter how you look at it. Al Gore obviously went on to be the big shot for the whole global warming BS, and Bush ended up taking us into war. And he was president of the United States when the 9/11 attacks occurred. And odds are, and talk is that, we've been talking about this for 24 years, that he had prior knowledge to the attack. A lot like Franklin Roosevelt had prior knowledge to Pearl Harbor from Japan. Like, hey, you shut down our shipping lines for oil, we're going to attack you. You stop oil shipping to Japan, we're going to attack you. We're going to attack Hawaii. And he basically was like, go right ahead. Basically, like, we dare you or something. I don't know. Basically was like, go right ahead, because now we can have an excuse to go to war in Europe and Japan. And there's your World War II being escalated in a bigger way, so the banks can come ahead, and the big boys can have their money, all the contractors and such, with the military industrial complex. Yet another huge rabbit hole here. But yeah, that's another show, basically, another episode. But I guess it's like I throw in all this stuff in so many episodes. But definitely a very political episode. But of course it is. It's election season. We just had a debate that Trump did not dominate. But in terms of facts that were put out, regardless of how you think of how Trump came off, like he came off as an angry man or this or that, how did Kamala Harris come off? Arrogant, snooty, like very bratty, that obnoxious laugh and chuckle that never goes away and it never stops. So did Kamala Harris really look like a nice person? Did she look presidential during that election? Oh, and by the way, there was like a 99% chance that she was coached as to what the questions were going to be way before that debate took place. That she was able to rehearse and prepare and be ready. Okay, here comes this question. I know what I'm going to say now. And then the whole group kept baiting Trump into frustration and such. And it made Trump look worse than he was, by far. So he couldn't get into deeper points and put Kamala Harris in the place where she belongs, which is absolutely nowhere at the end of the day. So, yep, cars going everywhere. But that's how it goes. I don't know what the point of that is, but I think I've said enough for today. Generally speaking, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's kind of all over the place, but that's freedom of thought, folks. That's freedom of thought. Last episode, you got to really hear what Gerald String had to say about a 17-plus minute call, about an 18-minute call, about how, he thought that things that a lot of farmers have been getting a bad rap with putting chemicals into foods and such. So, whereas a lot of it's pesticides and such, and that it's not the kind of thing that's hurting people. Yep, and I strongly agree that it's actually, more than likely the companies that are putting chemicals that are harmful. It's the companies like the Cokes, the Pepsis, the Tysons, this and that. You know what I mean? It's the McDonald's, the Burger King. You could go on forever. That do like food processing well after. Like you get the chicken from the farm, and then they go from there. Where again, I was saying how Wendy's looks like the most real, you could say. Like it looks like you're eating chicken. It looks like you're eating white meat or whatever. Whereas other stuff, it could be ground up and God knows what the heck else is inside that meat. Like we don't know. We just don't. it's weird and nasty and stuff, right? So you get the point, though. I think I've made enough here. I'm going to go on all day, babble, and you're probably tired of it. No, hope you don't mind. But I've enjoyed doing this episode, even though, unfortunately, it's not necessarily the happiest of topics. It's a necessary topic. It's a necessary thing we have to get into this time of year. So it is what it is. I'm wishing all of you a wonderful week. We'll see, probably try to get to work on some of these other science or biblical or biblical history type of episodes coming up. So it's not just politics all the time, because really I don't want this to be a political show all the time. Just sometimes here and there, some politics, but I'd like to get into all that other stuff as well. Like, well, you get the idea. It's in the show description, like Nephilim giants, biblical history, science itself. It's a lot of fun. So, or just weird stuff going on, or wonderful things. Just sometimes it's just like, what a beautiful time of year it is in April, or in this time of year as it's getting a little cooler, and you could smell a bonfire off in the distance, or a fire pit, excuse me, which I can right now. Oh, that's wonderful. So yes, I could take that in all day, all night. I just love it. Oh, God. Thank you, Lord, for fire pits. Thank you, Lord. Wish I could have a garage. I wish I could have a house with a fireplace for the winter. But, well, someday. With that said, I think I've babbled way too much, and I'm wishing you a wonderful week. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.